Hello, my dear students. Today, let us see A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. Just only the themes. The first theme explored here is rebirth. The central theme of the novel is rebirth, the idea of being recalled to life. Dr. Manette is literally brought back from the living death of imprisonment. Sidney Carton achieves spiritual rebirth through his noble sacrifice. The French Revolution itself is seen as a kind of social rebirth of a nation. Quote idea for slides: I am the resurrection and the life. This is a quote said by Lord Jesus Christ. He rose again from the dead, which is called as resurrection. Here we find the characters Dr. Manette and Sidney Carton are brought back to life. The author, refers to the spiritual resurrection or the spiritual rebirth. The French Revolution causes rebirth to the nation. Dr. Manette, after releasing from the prison, he gets back to life, which is also called rebirth or resurrection. In resurrection, we find in this novel this as the central theme. This is a central theme symbolized by the phrase recall to life. It is seen in Dr. Manette's recovery from imprisonment and Sidney Carton's metaphorical resurrection through a self-sacrifice and redemption. Let us explore the next theme: sacrifice and redemption. Many characters find redemption through self-sacrifice. Sidney Carton's selfless act to save Charles Darnay gives meaning to his wasted life. This theme connects closely with the Christian values, giving one's life for another. For example, Carton dies so that others may live happily. A Christ-like sacrifice is made by Sidney Carton. Let's move on to the next theme by still exploring deeply. The novel emphasizes sacrificed most notably through Sidney Carton's final act of giving his life for Charles Darnay. This theme extends to the revolutionaries who make sacrifices for the hope of a better future. Love and loyalty. Love motivates the noblest acts in the story. Lucy Manette's love brings peace to her father and inspires change in others. Love transforms Sidney Carton's life and gives him a purpose. Let me quote: "A loving heart is the truest wisdom." Let me repeat it: A loving heart is the truest wisdom. Next, we find social injustice. Dickens critiques the deep seated injustice of the French aristocracy and the subsequent excesses of the Revolution. The story shows how oppression and cruelty breed violence, affecting both the privileged and the poor. The next theme is duality. The novel explores the idea of opposites, contrasting characters like Darnay and Carton, and exploring the two sides of the French Revolution and the opposing cities of London and Paris. We shall see the next theme, fate. The idea of fate plays a significant role, with many events appearing inevitable and driven by a sense of destiny. The revolution itself is presented as a fated event that reshapes society. Love and hate. The story examines how love and hatred interact, especially within families and across social classes. When we come to violence and revenge, the novel shows how the French Revolution, though born from injustice, turns into violence. Madame Defarge symbolizes this desire for revenge that destroys everything in its path. Dickens warns that revenge without mercy leads only to more suffering. Imprisonment and death. The physical and psychological effects of imprisonment, like that of Dr. Manette, are a major focus. The guillotine serves as the ultimate symbol of the revolution's death and revenge. Class and class struggle and injustice. Dickens exposes the cruelty of the aristocracy and the desperation of the poor. The revolution becomes a reaction to centuries of injustice. However, he also warns that repeated tyranny with revenge is equally dangerous. Dear students, we also see that how tyranny and revolution causes a lot of effect upon the characters in this novel. Actually, A Tale of Two Cities. This takes place in Paris during the French Revolution. This revolution began in the year 1789. Here, Dickens shows how the tyranny of the French aristocracy, high taxes, unjust laws, and a complete disregard for the well being of the poor fed a rage among the commoners that eventually erupted in revolution. Dickens depicts this process most clearly through his portrayal of the decadent Marquis Saint Evremont and the Marquis' cruel treatment of the commoners who live in the region under his control. However, while the French commoners' reasons for revolting were entirely understandable, and the French Revolution was widely praised for its stated ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, Dickens takes a more pessimistic view by showing how the revolutionaries use oppression and violence to further their own selfish and bloodthirsty ends. In A Tale of Two Cities, Dickens suggests that whoever is in power, nobles or commoners, will fall prey to the temptation to exercise their full power. In other words, Dickens shows that while tyranny will inevitably lead to revolution, and revolution will lead just as inevitably to tyranny, the only way to break the circle is through the application of justice and mercy. Dear students, hope you understood these themes. Concentrate on the major themes so that if you listen to this video once or twice, you will be easily able to grasp the idea. Thank you very much. And here it's Dr. Joy Christina. We'll meet in the next video.